is navigate to virtualbox.org, where you'll see a screen like this. And the process that you would follow is going to be a little different than you would if you were simply setting up any virtual machine. Um, in a forensically sound manner, one of the first things you need to establish is that the tools you're using are authentic and untainted, which means you need to generate a SHA-256 hash. Does that ring a bell for any of you? Do you know what I mean by a hash? We calculate a hash of the download.
Yeah.
So what you'll do is click on the download option, and what you'll do next is download the VirtualBox hypervisor of choice based on your operating system. So based on the platform you're working with, if you're Windows, you'll select the first one. If you're using an older Mac with an Intel processor, the second one. If you're using an Apple computer, MacBook, MacBook, let's see, an iMac, a Mac Mini, anything with the M chip, you'll download this. If you're running Linux, you'll use this distribution. And you'll install it. Now, if you happen to have it already loaded, so if you search for Control Panel and you see in Programs and Features that Oracle VirtualBox is already loaded, you're going to uninstall it unless it is version 7.2.0. Any older version of VirtualBox, you're going to want to install it and reboot your system. You want a fresh installation after you reboot your system without running any other applications. And this is significant and important because if you load a bunch of other applications, there are other updates or patches or fixes that are automatically loading in the background. If you have other competing resources while you're working this process, it can muck up your install. So you want a you want a clean slate, and I strongly recommend that you uninstall this. If you cut corners, it will not end well for you. This is not a time to cut corners or skip steps. Did everybody hear that? Can you unmute your microphone one at a time and say, yes, I heard that. I won't cut corners.
Yes, I heard that I won't cut corners. Yes, I heard that I won't cut corners.
Great. Now, once you've downloaded the VirtualBox VM management application, you also need to download just one copy of the extension pack. So the one copy of the extension pack applies to all of the different flavors of VirtualBox once those are installed. So having downloaded the VirtualBox, you're going to capture a screen image of what I'm about to show you to prove that you have a proper download. Now, you'll notice here they provide SHA-256 checksums. And so what you're going to want to do is identify the flavor of the extension pack. It's this line. And you'll copy this line into Notepad, a fresh notepad. Everybody sees what I'm doing here, right? want you to insert a line here. And then what we're going to do is generate the 256 using a hash utility on my system. You'll do it on your system. If you have a Windows machine, you'll probably want to use something like HashTool 1.2, which you can install as a Windows app using the Microsoft Store. If you are on a Mac, you can go to the App Store and download something equivalent. There are some commands from the terminal, and depending on the version of OS X you're using, you may be able to generate some of your hashes right from the terminal prompt. I'm going to also copy and paste. Let's see, where is it? It would help if this is a little larger. The SHA-256 value for the Windows executable. This is the Mac version, but I'm going to take this one. So I'll grab this, copy and paste this. I'll do the same thing down here. And just a quick explanation. Install media. Now, why am I asking you to do it just this way? In just a moment, you'll see why. In my downloads folder, I have VirtualBox. I should have the extensions somewhere here. I thought I had those. Let me download that. Going to accept and download. So I have a fresh copy of the extensions. That should be done shortly. So now I have the extension pack. Everybody see what I'm doing here? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so one thing that I found can be problematic is that if you're working from the downloads folder, if it's a part of your user profile and you have OneDrive active in the system tray, sometimes the data store for your downloads folder is out in the cloud on the internet. And depending on the reliability of your network connections, you can get all sorts of unintended errors when you're trying to work that. I always recommend taking the downloaded files and then copying those into, just don't cut and paste, don't drag and drop, but copy them into a temp folder. If you don't have a temp folder set up on the C drive of your machine, you need to set one up. And oh yeah, that's from yesterday. That's what I have. So right here, I'm going to use this on my local hard drive as the source for the hash calculation for both of these components, okay? And then I'm going to take the values and copy them and paste them into here. So essentially what I have is a view of this and the hash tool and the results and a side-by-side comparison all together on the screen. This is what you want to capture once it's complete. That's the first task that would be complete for assignment 1.2. So to finish that process, I'll open my hash tool and I'll run it as administrator. And I'll resize this thing so that I can kind of get the detail on the screen, right? It'll be in the background. So I'm going to select the file. I'm also going to hit the pull down for SHA-256. The default is SHA-1. I'll select the first file, which would be this one. Here's the result it calculated. I'm going to copy this. And as I click onto here, does everybody see what's happening? I can paste. Oh, look. I have a one-to-one comparison. Flawless. Everybody see that? In the background, I also have Windows Explorer with my own specifics showing, and I also have my own logon for the account that I'm using. If you're taking shortcuts and you copy and paste from this video, which some students have tried to do, very silly. The other screen elements in here are going to be a dead giveaway that you're just trying to speed bump and you're not really doing it on your own machine, and that will end badly. I bring that up because some have done it. I'm also going to select uh, the install media from the temp folder. So I'm going to select this file. It's calculated that. I'll hit the copy button again, walk into my notepad, paste that hash. And what you want to do is capture this view as shown to provide an artifact that you have completed the first task of the 1.3 assignment. Any questions, comments, observations? None? You still with me?
Yeah, we with you.
Okay. Now, if the 1.2 assignment is to obtain and install VirtualBox in a forensically sound manner, and you've just obtained the VirtualBox with the extensions in a forensically sound manner, and it's in the temp folder. Now you're set to install. The second task is to complete the installation, including a load of the VirtualBox extension pack and configuration of a unique directory. So you also need a VM directory off your C drive. We'll show you how you work with that in just a minute. And what you'll do is capture two artifacts, one to show that the application was successfully installed, including the extension pack. And the second artifact will be to show that the VM directory has been used to set up your virtual machine preferences within VirtualBox. You want your virtual machines loading into here. The default setting for VirtualBox is to put it in the Documents folder. When you put things in the Documents folder, if you have OneDrive active and it's configured automatically, half the time those things are syncing up to the cloud on the internet. What would happen if you installed a 32 gigabyte virtual machine out on the cloud and then you tried to load it? How long would it take for you to load a 32 gigabyte virtual machine from the cloud? Well, let's see. 32 gigabytes is basically 256 gigabits. And depending on the speed of your download, it could be painfully slow, right? If you're on Bucks Connect, if you're sharing internet with people, you get what I'm saying, yes? Everybody understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So what you'll do is you'll install VirtualBox with a right click. You don't have to capture intermediate steps of this as you do it, but it's often good to do that. Just to be sure that you follow the steps. You want to right click and run as admin when you do this. Half the time people do this even if they're logged in with an administrative account. If they're logged in with a account that has admin privileges. If you do not select and then right click and run as administrator, sometimes things misfire, okay? Another thing that happens is that if you don't do it after a fresh reboot with nothing else loaded, other applications don't always play nice. They can interfere with installations, right? So you're going to run this as administrator. I'm not going to walk through the wizard, but you'll just accept all of the default settings. Yes, okay, yes, okay. And eventually what will happen is that you'll see a VirtualBox screen. It'll offer to open up VirtualBox the first time. At that point, you double click. You can't run as admin for this, but you'll double click this with VirtualBox loaded. It'll know how to interpret that. Your view before VirtualBox is installed will not show the same icon because that ext pack is keyed to that application, and Windows doesn't know how to interpret that for which application until VirtualBox is installed. So you'll know VirtualBox is installed successfully when the icon for this changes. Does everybody know what I'm saying here? The icon will change to a green cube. Before that, it won't have the green cube. All right. After you install VirtualBox, I'm going to add this to my start menu, and I'm also going to pin this to the front. When I load this, I'm going to run it as an administrator because when I'm creating virtual machines, I want the virtual machines to provision the physical resources of my host machine authoritatively. So I'm always going to run as administrator when I load that, right? So if I go ahead and have this screen open, actually the opening screen is going to look like this. So this is the opening screen that you'll have. And you should capture this screen with the extension pack install success splash overlaid on top of it. Now, sometimes the extension pack loads and it just closes. And so if you're sitting here on this screen and you don't have the extension pack installed successfully window, a neat way to prompt that you've installed it correctly is to simply double click on the extension pack and it'll throw this in there. Okay, so you'd normally have that other background here. You know what? I'm going to delete this because it's mucking with my karma. And I'll just do it over again in the other class. So I want to show the screen. There we go. I'm going to double click my extension pack. That's what I'm talking about. You're going to capture this screen. If the extension pack load does not show you a screen you can capture like this that says it's been successfully installed, then I want you to double click it again and it'll say, hey, it's already installed. Would you like to reinstall it? Now there is another option to show the extension pack options on this screen. But when you do that, you don't have the same view of the opening screen of the new version, okay? It's also going to show the precise build. It'll show the version, but it'll also show the precise build, and it should match this 170228. So this is the second screen capture that you submit to complete the second task for 1.2.